Was on, ladies and gentlemen. My name's Ross, I like games, and today we're back with round 2 from day 2 of the Illinois-Chicago Adepticon Vault Tour, call it what you will. Now, I thought we'd already done round 2, but I wasn't told what rounds 1 and 2 were, and now this is round 2, even though we've already had 2 rounds. Let's just not worry about it. On the left, we have Colleen with Luzvex, the aggressive volcano predator. Great name for a deck. Brobnar, Shadows, and Untamed. On the right, we have the Spirit that detects plotting, that we have already seen on the stream. I think we've seen this one before on one of these videos. Links to all the previous rounds in the description. Dis, Sanctum, and Shadows. So Colleen does go first. She's only allowed to play a single card. She pops down a Nexus, but unfortunately Spirit just pops down a Fear right away, makes her pick it up, and then gets down an Ember Imp and a couple of Snudge. Ember Imp is crucial. It limits Colleen to playing 2 cards during her turn. She can use more cards than that, but she can only play 2 cards. Unless she can get rid of Ember Imp somehow. One of the great things about Ember Imp in the early game, your opponent isn't actually able to do much. Oh, but she plays a Mimicry to mimic Fear to make him pick up Ember Imp, then plays a Full Moon and then a Dust Pixie, getting her free Ember. Full Moon gets you an extra Ember for each creature you play. Dust Pixie gets you 2 when you play it. That was a lovely use of Mimicry there. I was going to say she's got no creatures down to actually try and take out the Ember Imp, but she doesn't need them. That's quite nice. Now, there are 2 Snudge down. When you fight or reap, you return an artifact or flank creature to its owner's hand. And it's not a choice. You have to. Good news is, the fight ability comes in at the end of the fight. Otherwise, Colleen would be forced to pick up her Dust Pixie and get lots more Ember, which would be very bad. I believe that's the ruling they're talking about. But yeah, so he does have to pick up the other one, unfortunately, but hey-ho. And then he just puts them back down again. Because the only flank creatures are his own, he has to pick up the Snudge. And of course, Colleen was able to get the Ember Imp into his hand by using Mimicry to copy a Fear. But Spirit can just put it straight back down again. It's not like it's there forever. Oh, this one's quite nice. Poison Wave comes down, doing 2 damage to each creature. Ember Imp is, in fact, a 2-power creature, so that took it right down. Oh, and then Restless Whispers comes around to take out one of the Snudge, and of course, you steal an Ember if you're able to do so. And that Nexus goes back down, along with... It is hard to see what all of these creatures are, ladies and gentlemen. I believe that might be Selwyn the Fence. Yes, I believe that's Selwyn the Fence. When you fight or reap, you move an Ember from one of your cards to your pool. Now, what is really good for Colleen here, right away, she's got 6 Ember. That's enough to forge a key next turn. And of course, her opponent is currently sitting there rocking 0 Ember. I believe it's 0 Ember. Oh, that's a little bit mean. That's a Mighty Lance comes down, actually manages to take out both of her creatures, does 3 damage to each of 2 creatures. So, it wasn't exactly the biggest turn ever for Spirit there. And to be honest, both players have been kind of wiping each other's board quite nicely. The thing is, Spirit wasn't able to stop Colleen forging a key there. And that was his #1 goal on his previous turn. Now, we do see an Anger coming down there, lets you ready and fight with a friendly creature. So even though the creature that came down there shouldn't have been able to fight, Anger allowed it to do so, and straight away, we're off. Here's the thing, though. We're still in that same situation of we're not getting very far here. We're not doing very much. It's all well and good having this stuff down, but what's happening? How close are we getting to winning the game? And the answer is not all that close. Now, oh look, it's more board wiping, ladies and gentlemen. So a Nerve Blast comes down to take out the creature, and that's all well and good. And then we do get No, that's not Selwyn Defense, ladies and gentlemen. That's an Umbra. Can be difficult to see them at this kind of distance, but I think we're doing quite well. Umbra's got skirmish, so it can fight without taking any in return. And when you fight, you steal an ember. And oh, look, it's another board wipe. We're really seeing a very back and forth game in terms of board wiping. The one thing we're not seeing very much of in this game is Ember, so there comes a fear to get rid of it. Now a poltergeist comes down and lets you use an artifact, except it doesn't because Khalid's got no artifacts. And there's just not much Ember generation going on here. Khalid's been able to forge a key, and that's quite nice, but that wasn't exactly some monster, look how much Ember I've got turn. And now Spirit's sitting there, and he's got 3 Ember, but it's the end of his turn, and a bait and switch actually steals 2 of them. Oh, and then old Bruno comes down to capture the last one. That was a nice little turn. Now, Poison Wave will do 2 damage to the old Bruno there. And then Restless Whispers will KO it. It gets Spirit his captured Ember back and lets him steal 1. So, again, we got a little bit of a back and forth. And I believe that's actually one last job. No, I'm seeing things, ladies and gentlemen. That is definitely not one last job. Where are we to? Yeah, that is. Is that Shadow Self? I think it might be. Either way, it's not doing all that much good, and it's not going to stay there for very long. It never does. Oh, look, it's gone already. So straight away, Brobnar, and Brobnar does this, right? Brobnar has a whole bunch of cards that just take creatures out, that deal damage. Now, Colleen, I keep wanting to call her Rachel. I have no idea why. Colleen, if I call her Rachel, please forgive me. She's got 3 Ember. She's forged 1 key. Now, we do see another Ember bonus coming down there, playing some Sanctum, which is quite nice. Now, it is actually Glorious Few. For each creature your opponent controls in excess of you, gain an Ember. But that's just 1. It's not all that much. Now, Champion and Nafiel comes down, which is quite nice. And Protectrix comes down as well. And whereas Brobnar are good at taking out creatures, Sanctum are really good at just surviving, just kind of hanging around. Now, we do see a Troll coming down and a Mighty Javelin. Now, I like Mighty Javelin. It's got an Omni ability, so during any turn, regardless of what your active house is, you can basically sacrifice it, get rid of it, and then deal 4 damage to one of your opponent's creatures. It's nice to just leave sitting out there so that if your opponent ever drops a creature you really don't like, it gets you some extra damage against it. And that's really good. And to be fair, the best thing Spirit has, at least that we've seen so far, is Snudge. But both the Snudge have gone away. Snudge can just get rid of an artifact. Well, I suppose it puts it into its opponent's hand, and at that point they can just replay it, which is a little bit of a pain because, of course, it does have an Ember bonus. So you might not even really want to do that. And then we see this game going like it has been. We're seeing just board wiping. Now, one good thing for Spirit here is that Rachel's sitting there on 5 Ember. Bad news is, as we look down the list, there's no bait and switch in his deck. Now, he has got a too much to protect, which is nice. But he doesn't have that many emergency cards. Ah, Snufflegator. Love me some Snufflegator. And a Mermook, and forcing her opponent, I should say, to pick up his creatures. That's quite nice. Gets rid of it. Playing a Nature's Call. The good thing about Nature's Call, it lets you return up to 3 creatures to their opponent's hand, so you can make your opponent pick up their 2 creatures and not have to pick up any of yours at the same time. So that's rather nice. And Colleen's got herself up to 7 Ember, so it's now over to Spirit. Can he stop her forging a key? Now, the reason he's not forging here, although he's got 6 Ember, Mermook does have a permanent skill which increases the cost of your opponent's key by 1 Ember. So that Mermook was actually crucial for Colleen here. It means that Spirit's not actually able to forge. Oh, now he gets a Carlo Phantom down, but he also gets a Pawn Sacrifice, which, well, it gets him an Ember, and you sacrifice a friendly creature and do 3 damage to 2 creatures. But he's not actually stopping Colleen forging here. What he really wants is a too much to protect, which would bring her down to 6 Ember, but he's not able to do so. So now all of a sudden, Rachel, I told you I was going to do it. I have no idea where that's coming from. Colleen has now been able to forge her second key. She's only got to forge one more. And one of the things that Spirit is not doing particularly well here, he's not stopping Colleen forging. And really, at its heart, there are two aims in Keyforge. Forge keys, stop your opponent forging keys. And as it stands at the moment, that's just not happening. Now, I'm loving Double Snufflegator. Probably my favourite creature in Call of the Archons. When I say favourite creature, I'm talking purely in terms of design, not necessarily playability. So, okay, he's forged a key, but his opponent's got 4 Ember. What's he going to do about that? Oh, he's going to play a Control the Weak. Now, I like Control the Weak. Choose a house on your opponent's identity card. They have got to choose that house as their active house next turn. Now, he doesn't know what Colleen's got in her hand, so he's not got full information, but he knows that she's got 2 Snufflegator with Skirmish. So at least, if he chooses anything other than Untamed, and it looks like he's chosen Brobnar, that stops Colleen reaping with Snufflegator, which she'd probably go and do. Oh, and she's not actually able to gain any Ember. It's not perfect for Spirit, but that's quite nice. He's not evening it up, but Colleen's not winning the game next turn. That's really, really nice. Now, he does get down that Protectrix again. He does get down that Champion Anafiel again. That's very nice. But what's he doing? Building up his board full of creatures at this stage in the game is not really going to do him a huge amount of good. What he needs is to gain Ember and stop his opponent. Now, that's a good start. He gets, I believe that's his Pit Demon there. And as an action, you can steal an Ember. But if you look, he's now got 5 Ember. Now, even though there's no Mamook down on Colleen's side of the field, Spirit's still not forging next turn. And if I'm Colleen here, I'm just looking for the biggest, emberiest turn that I can. So, I'm probably thinking primarily in terms of reaping here. Because I just want it. Now, Headhunter, you can actually fight. That's on the far left of Colleen's battle line. Headhunter can fight and gain an Ember. So maybe use that to try and take out that Pit Demon for argument's sake. That could work quite nicely. To be fair, it would also take down Headhunter, but it would stop Pit Demon stealing an Ember next turn. So, you know, swings and roundabouts. And she can gain 3 Ember just from her Brobnar creatures here. If she's able to gain 1 other Ember with Brobnar, that could potentially put her over the top and put her in position to win next turn. Now, annoyingly, she's played her Full Moon. Yeah, and there we go, just reaping straight away. There is an argument to fight with Headhunter, but I don't mind this at all. Oh, and we actually see a Blood Money. No, that's not Blood Money. I'm lying to you, ladies and gentlemen. A Coward's End there. Destroy each undamaged creature, gain 3 chains. And I like this. It's a defensive move. What she's basically doing is going, look, I'm in a much better position than you, so I can afford to just wipe your board and chill, because you're not forging a key, I'm ahead by a key, and now I'm limiting your options. Because Spirit's still in the same position he's been in for a couple of turns. Stop forging. Get forging. Now, plays a 3 Fates there. That's quite nice. Gets him an Ember. Ooh! And also takes out some creatures. But Charette there capturing 3 Ember. Now, this is more like it. This is exactly the turn that he needed. Now he is in a position to reap forge a key next turn. And Rachel, sorry, I said that was going to happen. Not forging. Unfortunately for Spirit, fortunately for Colleen, she is able there to drop a Nature's Call. I believe it's Nature's Call. Put Charette back into her opponent's hand. Get herself an Ember in the process. Or was that a Lost in the Woods? There's a chance that was actually Lost in the Woods that shuffled them back in, which would be better because now Charette wouldn't be straight back into his hand. That would be nice. Now, I do like Ancient Bear. Oh, now this is where it's getting interesting. Now, Colleen, you saw she's ended that previous turn with enough Ember. And now we see forging from Spirit. Can he stop her forging? Now, he only needs to steal or capture a single Ember. Well, too much to protect isn't going to do anything. That would put his opponent down to 6 Ember. She's already on 6 Ember. Oh, nice. Plays a weak creature just so that he can destroy it with Relentless Whispers to steal an Ember. That was a good play. Did he want to just drop down a creature and destroy his own one? No, of course he didn't. But it stops Colleen forging a key, and it actually gains him 2 Ember, 1 for dropping the card and 1 for the stealing. So that actually worked out really nicely for him then. So we do see a Seeker Needle coming down there, and we see a Silver Tooth, which comes into play ready, along with a Silent Dagger. Gives you an Ember bonus, and when you reap, you deal 4 damage to a flank creature. And now Colleen's going, you know what? I don't think my opponent has got a great deck for stopping me forging. I don't think he can do this. So I'm just going to build up my Ember. I'm going to go to 9 Ember. I know he plays too much to protect. I saw his deck list at the beginning of the game. But I also know he's played too much to protect. And unless I'm missing something, yeah, he's got no other way to stop her forging a key. And that is why these cards like Bait and Switch, Too Much to Protect, Effervescent Principle, that is why they are the best cards in the game. Because if you don't play them, something like this happens. A bit of a back and forth game, bit of a slow start, lots of board wiping. But Colleen gets to the point where she's like, look, I'm up by 2 keys. He's played too much to protect. I think I can just gain a whole bunch of Ember and there's nothing he can do to stop me. And she was absolutely correct. So congratulations to her. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, please do remember that all the previous rounds from this tournament are in the description, so do go and check them out if you haven't already. Tell me what you think about this particular match in the comment section down below, and then if I could be so bold as to suggest that maybe you like this video. Maybe you subscribe to this channel so you can see these in the future, and maybe you follow me on Twitter at the Wossy, where we talk about Keyforge and other games. But by far the most important thing as always, and I mean that sincerely, look after yourselves until next time. Oh, also, massive shout out to Cascade Games for recording this and letting me use the footage. You guys rock. Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching Wossy Plays.